Of course I want to fight him. I'd love that. Hopefully one day he puts himself in a position where we can share the Octagon. That's the goal. Honestly, I forgot to even mention Alito. That's how irrelevant he is in my life. I didn't think of him at all. I'm ranked higher than him at lightweight, yet Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, thinks Paddy should get a title shot? Make it make sense.
So you want to fight him?
I want to fight him. Of course I want it. So hopefully he puts himself in the spot where we can share the Octagon one day.
Oh yeah, we want that. I forgot to mention Ilia in the cage, to be honest. That's how irrelevant he is in my life. I forgot to even mention El Chorizo. You know what I mean? I didn't even think of him. I'm ranked higher than him at lightweight.
But Islam Makhachev's coach Mendez believes Paddy should fight for the title next.
Do you think Paddy deserves a title shot, or he's not ready to face somebody like Islam?
Paddy's ready to face anybody. I mean, what he's done already, his credentials, his winning record in the UFC, and his hype, and what he can do, how he can motivate people. If they give him the next title shot, he deserves it because they gave it to him. So whoever they give it to him, they give. And let's see who they give him to, who gets into the arena with him next. I don't know, but is he worthy? Yes. Yes.
And he's interesting, as you said.
Yes, he's very interesting. And he's got a whole England behind him, and a lot of America is going to be behind him. Most of America will be behind him.
Yeah.
He has a lot of fans, and I'm a fan. I wasn't a big fan at the beginning. I was not. When he fought Jared Gordon, I was like, but I become a huge fan.
If I'm the UFC, I'm strategically going to match up Paddy to have success. You can do Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett. That's what I would do. I mean, you're like, Justin Gaethje? Listen, it's a tough day in the fucking office. But pick your poison. Out of Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje, stylistically. Not saying Justin can't fucking knock his lights out. He can knock anybody out. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. But stylistically, Justin Gaethje matches up very poorly with Paddy Pimblett. Paddy can beat Justin. Paddy can beat Charles. Paddy can beat Dustin Poirier, but they're tougher fights. Stylistically, out of those three gentlemen, Justin Gaethje is the one you want if you're the Paddy camp.
Big news for Ilia Topuria. He's currently visiting Joe Rogan and is set to appear on the Joe Rogan Experience, with the full episode likely dropping tomorrow. This marks a major milestone in Topuria's career, as Rogan's guest list is reserved for the biggest names in the world, and even stars like Conor McGregor have never been on. Topuria's invitation not only highlights how far he's come, but also signals that both the UFC and Rogan see him as a serious contender and potential global superstar. Some fans speculate that the UFC is pushing Topuria hard to build hype for a future mega fight with Islam Makhachev, with one fan even suggesting Topuria's media run is a strategic move to get under Islam's skin. Rumors are swirling, thanks in part to Colby Covington, that the UFC already has plans for a Makhachev versus Topuria superfight. Whether it's about creating the next Conor McGregor or just recognizing rising greatness, all eyes are now on Ilia Topuria.
End of June.
End of June.
So like 2 months from now.
Okay.
So,
Who's
they haven't announced it, but I think it's going to be Makhachev and Topuria.
Oh, that's going to be a crazy one.
It's going to be a sick fight.
That's going to be.
They're talking about maybe putting the co-main as, who's the co-main? I think the 85 title fight between DDP, Dricus Duplessis versus Khamzat Chimaev.
That's a crazy card, bro.
Khabib recently addressed the growing buzz around Ilia Topuria, potentially moving up to lightweight to challenge Islam Makhachev, and he didn't hold back. While he acknowledged the hype surrounding Topuria and showed respect for his skills, Khabib made it clear that Islam isn't eager to take that fight anytime soon, and for good reason. In his eyes, a matchup against Arman Tsarukyan would pose a much tougher challenge for Islam than one against Topuria.
Кто опаснее сейчас для Ислама Макхачева, Арман Царукян или Илья Топурия?
Мое личное мнение, не то чтобы там опасен, скажем так, более конкурентен. Я думаю, что Царукян. Я думаю, Арман посерьезнее боец, чем Топурия. Топурия хороший боец 66, а в 70 мы его не видели. Я считаю, что Арман более конкурентоспособный для ислама, чем Топурия.
А вот то, что он перешел вес выше, я про Топурию, оставив пояс и сразу заявляет намерение подрать исламу. Вот ты как это воспринимаешь? Многие его осуждают, что он так сразу хочет ислам.
Ну смотрите, ребята, я не знаю просто, какие договоренности были у Топурии с UFC. Просто если смотреть со стороны ислама, ислам уже 2 раза давал шанс чемпионам 66. Оба раза ислам выиграл. Сейчас 3-й раз ему давать. Ну хорошо, представим, Топурия переходит, перешел и дерется сразу за пояс. Ислам его выиграл. Потом Топурия дерется еще один бой. Он еще раз проигрывает. То есть он вообще никем не был в 155, и ислам выиграл человека, который никем не был в 155, в 70 килограмм. Из-за этого, как для наследия, для ислама, для его резюме, я ислама риски тоже понимаю. И из-за этого ислам говорит, пусть подерется, пусть станет реальным претендентом, и ислам будет драться с любым. Ислам же сказал, я буду драться с любым бойцом. И он даже дрался с чемпионом 66, летел к нему. Ислам на то, в Австралию полетел, у него там на заднем дворе подрался. У него дома подрался. Из-за этого мы, как команда, мы считаем, что Топурия, он достойный боец. Он чемпион, защитил пояс, выиграл очень серьезных ребят. Но эти все ребята, которые были в 66, даже тот же самый Холлоуэй, которого он выиграл, он перешел на 70, он ничего не сделал.
Ilia Topuria fired back at Khabib's comments, saying, Khabib knows I'm the one who will take the belt from Islam. That's the only reason he doesn't want the fight. It's clear there's real tension brewing, especially after Topuria boldly claimed he would submit Makhachev right in front of Khabib. That comment alone likely struck a nerve, and judging by Khabib's reaction, the Georgian has definitely gotten under his skin.
I take him close to Khabib. I will submit him closer to Khabib.
You'll submit him in front of Khabib?
Yeah. I take him. Khabib used to take people in his shoulder, take them down and talk to Dana. I would do it to Khabib. Like, I will take him,
and then talk to Khabib.
Talk to Khabib. Khabib.
Islam Makhachev или Topuria, Ilia?
Topuria or Islam Makhachev. Enfoque las áreas para ver. Topuria.
Heartbreaking news has struck the MMA community as UFC middleweight Marvin Vettori's younger brother Patrick has tragically passed away at just 30 years old after a fire broke out in his apartment. Marvin shared a deeply emotional tribute on Instagram, calling Patrick his number one and expressing the profound pain of losing someone who was not only his strength, but also building a promising future. You left a hole in my heart that nothing can ever fill, he wrote, adding, I don't think I'll ever be the same after this. He spoke of Patrick's intelligence, kindness, and the belief that God calls home the best souls too soon. Life won't be the same without you, but I'll rest easy knowing I'll see you again someday, he said. Our deepest condolences go out to Marvin and the entire Vettori family during this unimaginable loss. Please join us in sending love and support. In other news, after UFC 314, Aljamain Sterling is evaluating his next move and considering potential opponents.
3 top opponents that I would like to fight on my way to trying to eventually fight for a world title. So I would like to see Volkanovski versus Mosar. I think that matchup makes sense. I would love the opportunity for me to fight Diego Lopez next. And then I think maybe Pitbull, maybe he welcomes Aaron Pico to the UFC. And I think it's an opportunity for both these guys to show if they belong. Or, I mean, you can mix them up with somebody else. There's Lerone Murphy there, another undefeated prospect at the weight class. Yair is coming off a win over Pitbull. I can see Yair versus Lerone Murphy or Yair versus Diego Lopez. But then you have Brian Ortega, who's probably not looking to return maybe anytime soon, hopefully by the summer, just to keep the division moving. So those are matchups that interest me. I would either like to fight Diego Lopez or Brian Ortega. I think those are the most logical fights. Or
the MMA world is on fire right now as Ilia Topuria just unleashed a scathing response to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and things are getting seriously personal. After Khabib claimed Islam Makhachev would have a tougher fight against Arman Tsarukyan than Ilia, Topuria didn't hold back. He clapped back hard, saying, Khabib knows I'm the one who'll take the belt from Islam, for that's the only reason he doesn't want the fight. He's protecting him. This bold statement comes just days after Topuria confidently declared that he would submit Makhachev right in front of Khabib himself, a move that clearly rattled the Dagestani legend. You could feel the shift in energy, the silent tension turning into open warfare. And while all this is going down, Joe Rogan dropped a bombshell that's got Conor McGregor fans in shock. Ilia Topuria has officially recorded an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. For years, fans have been asking, where's the Conor episode? Especially since Conor himself has publicly requested it multiple times. But it never happened. And now, Topuria, one of Conor's loudest rivals, just got the invite and sat across from Rogan for what many believe will be a career-defining conversation. The message is loud and clear. The UFC and Rogan see Topuria as the next big thing. It's not just hype anymore. It's strategic promotion, and it's hitting hard. Meanwhile, rumors have exploded across the MMA world about a potential super fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Leaks suggest that the UFC is in early talks to make the fight happen later this year, with sources claiming that Dana White is pushing for it to headline one of the biggest cards of 2020-2025. According to insiders, Colby Covington even hinted that the UFC already has plans in motion behind the scenes, and this could be the next mega fight to rival the days of McGregor versus Khabib. The stars are aligning. Topuria's stock is soaring. Makhachev is dominating the lightweight division, and fans are hungry for a fresh, explosive rivalry. But what's really fueling this potential matchup is the fire between Topuria and Khabib. It's not just about the belt anymore, it's personal. Khabib has always been Islam's mentor, his protector, and his voice outside the cage. So when Topuria takes shots at Islam, he's indirectly challenging Khabib's legacy too. That's why the tension is so thick right now. Ilia isn't just calling for a fight, he's calling out an entire dynasty. And then there's the Joe Rogan effect. Ilia's appearance on the JRE is going to open him up to millions of viewers who may not have seen his full personality yet. Rogan has a knack for humanizing fighters, for pulling out the real story behind the fighter, and if Ilia comes off as charismatic and genuine, it could flip the entire public perception. People who may have dismissed him before might start rooting for him, and that's dangerous for Islam's camp. Add to that the fact that Topuria's rise has been electric, undefeated, confident, sharp on the mic, and explosive in the cage, and you've got the perfect storm. Meanwhile, McGregor fans are still stunned that Joe Rogan has never hosted him, especially since Conor helped skyrocket the UFC to global fame. Some speculate that past tensions, including Rogan's criticisms of Conor's behavior and fighting style, may be the reason. But now, with Topuria stepping into the spot McGregor always wanted, the narrative is shifting fast. The UFC may be signaling that it's time for a new era, one where Topuria is the face of a new generation, one that doesn't rely on the old guard, but builds its own legacy. And if the leaked info about Islam versus Ilia is true,